I didn't get to see you at the Kingpyn launch event. You were
Yeah.
hounded by a lot of interviews, and I didn't get a chance to see you. But I'm glad I'm catching up with you now.
Yeah.
You were just telling me before we got on, like, you were feeling a bit under the weather. Like, but how are you feeling in general?
Well, I've been really poorly, but apart from that, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling great. I've got 2 really intense weeks. I've got Sammy Joe Langston down for 2 weeks for sparring.
Yes.
So it's gonna be really intense. And this is the part of the camp where it's being ramped up. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling sore. It's the second day in after a week off, but I'm feeling the best I can.
How is it training with her? Because obviously, she's quite aggressive in the boxing ring. I mean, she's had that Muay Thai and MMA background as well. So how's that helped you in terms of even more so? Because obviously there's multiple disciplines that have been able to like been bestowed upon you.
Yeah, I think it's good to have someone different in front of me because, boxing's not her first art form as well. So it's learning with different people, and I think that it's great having all kinds of different sparring partners, really, because you can be conditioned to different situations into that ring, and once you know how to learn from it and how to move and stuff like that. And Sammy Joe, she's taller than me and she's a great mover, so she's really good to work with because I need to work on like cutting off the ring and that kind of thing. So she's conditioning me and she punches hard and we're like the same weight. So she's a great sparring partner and I get on with her so well. That, me and Mark is training us both for the next couple of weeks and we're working very tightly together.
Who goes in harder, Sammy or Ebony? Because I know that you spar with both of them, and it gets pretty wild in there as well in terms of like the amount of sparring that you do.
Yeah, well, I think Ebony is probably, yeah, Ebony's like the hardest puncher I've ever felt in my life. Like, I don't understand how someone that's 5'1" punches that hard, but Sammy punches hard as well. So it's all good conditioning.
Hmm.
I think they're just two different body types, really. I think, and obviously Ebony's world champion. I don't think you can compete with that.
Of course, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of influences on your part, and you're only gaining more momentum. Going into this tournament. I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of beef, I mean, you've wasted no like you and Miss Danielka have wasted no time in promoting your fight. It seemed like when I was watching the press conference that everything was all cushy. You guys were hugging it
Yeah.
out. Everything was all cool. And then, you even said in a few of your interviews, there's no bad blood. Everything's cool. And now all of a sudden it's like all this back and forth situation, like her saying that if she knew what you were doing for a job, that she wouldn't have
Touch me.
touched you. um
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on? What is happening?
I think maybe she obviously we're from two different realms of the world. I think she's from Poland, isn't she? And I'm from the UK, so we don't know much about each other. Maybe she didn't do research into, what I do for a living or anything like that. So yeah, and I think at the time there was a language barrier. I think everyone was kind of a bit friendly on the announcement day, like when everyone was finding out, even the men, there was no real beef or anything like that. But the harder people work within these weeks and the more you want it and the more opponents are rubbing underneath your skin because you've got other people, like people getting involved, like comments and stuff like that. So your opponents just make you itch, I think. Especially in this space anyway, and influencer space, they're so loud, aren't they?
Yeah, no, everyone's loud. I mean, especially with your sister Emily, because on that stage, everyone was so cool. Like everyone was like cordial and everything like that. And when it came
Yeah.
to Emily and Amber's face off, like it started to kick off, and I was thinking like, okay, so there's some stuff happening now. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, how did you see that from your perspective sitting there, and then that face off happened? And I think like, rah, okay, is that what my sister's doing now?
Yeah, like I didn't expect it at all. Like I was just like, oh my God, like what is happening? I was so shocked. Yeah, but I was like, oh damn, she's taking a leaf out of my first Kingpyn rodeo.
Ah, okay, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of influence there already in terms of
I
like
don't know.
seeing
I feel like it's deja vu. I'm like, is that me? But no,
in a
she's doing
different
well.
person, in a different body. Yeah.
I know we're so similar as it is, but no, she's working extremely hard, and it's good to see her get stuck into something at full speed because she's gone from doing like a casual gym goer, like does booty gains and that kind of thing, to being, you know, full-time in a boxing ring within a week is
Mm.
crazy. So I'm excited to see how much it grows, how much she grows as a person, especially over like the tournament. I think it'll be really like humbling and endearing. But whether I have to face her in the final, that'll be another story.
I mean, you know, when I spoke to her, like, you know, for that to be a possibility of that, I'm thinking, how you guys, like, how would you guys be mentally prepared to know that, okay, this is my sister, and I might have to go through her to win potentially? Like, has that stuck in your mind a bit?
I mean, we're fighting in 12 ounce gloves. You're not going to kill the other person. So, like,
Mm.
you know, there's no, I know I'm not going to hurt her dramatically. I probably won't punch her as hard as I try to anyone else. I'm not too sure. But, you know, if someone's coming at you, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to defend yourself. So, yeah, and this is what I want to do. And if my sister gets in the way of me and winning the tournament, then of course I'm going to do everything with my power to stop her. So definitely competitive, and I think there's no animosity between us. But just because she's my sister doesn't mean I'll go lightly on her or that I would, you know, let her win, because that's absolutely not the case. If
Mm.
anything, you know, there's always been sister rivalry. There always is with brothers and sisters growing up. So I'm used to it, and I think it'll be a funny storyline.
It would be a funny storyline because obviously, you know, family in a tournament, you know, competing to win the tournament. So I mean, we'll see what happens in terms of that. You know, even with your fight with Miss Danielka, that, I mean, the
Yeah.
plot thickens even with that, because there was another video that surfaced, I think, on her side saying that there'll be a new video of her fucking you in the ring, but I think she was trying to say to fuck you up in the ring, and then because you said in a video that it's just like, oh, you know, she'll work with me on an OF on the 22nd when I beat her. That's what you know said out. I mean, I think it should. Is it banter that you're trying to put out at this point and trying to, you know, brew up the rivalry at this point?
I don't know. I think she was fully serious about like the job thing, because I was speaking to one of the organizers, James, and he DM'd me and he was like, "Oh, he's not very happy. She's not very happy when she found out your job." Like, I think perhaps that's an actual strong opinion. I don't think that was banter, but you know, it is what it is. I think it's funny because there's a little bit of a language barrier, so things get, you know, mistaken and, you know, poorly worded, translated. But you know, I don't know much about her, but you know, she's given me all the ingredients really to fire up some energy within me to want to beat her even more.
Because originally it was like, I'm not here to cause bad blood. It was just, I'm here just to, to prove myself. But now there's added fuel to the fire in terms of this. Because, you even said that you were looking to go to Poland. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. I think you know, like meeting different people and specifically like helping promote the fight in Poland will be good, I think, because getting different viewers. And I think that Kingpyn have been good for drawing in different nationalities this fight. I think there's two
Mm.
Brazilians. I know that Ola is Polish. So yeah, it's kind of like a worldwide feud.
Yeah, it's like a worldwide situation. Well, I'm glad that's even happening because, and even with like Emily's fight with Amber, like you even put your 2 cents in on that as well, because there was like I think it's like
Yeah.
a 10-second video of the spar that you had with Amber, and then there seemed to be like this sort of banter on Twitter in terms of that as well. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like because I think it was like where Amber was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna clock out Emily on the chin or something," and then it's just like then you put out the video in terms of the spar that you
Yeah.
did. So are you just trying to
Yeah.
add more fuel to the fire in terms of Emily's fight as well?
Yeah, I think it's funny. It's nice to put someone in their place, isn't it? If they're gonna say that they're gonna spark someone out and it's like, oh, I don't think you are, because you know, I know the levels I've sparred with her a couple of times now. So I know what she's like. So yeah, no, I definitely see my sister winning that fight, I think, and my sister hasn't been boxing long at all. I think they're well suited in terms of like stature, weight, and stuff like that. They're probably the best suited on the card, to be honest. They're very similar sizes. Yeah, no, I think my sister walks through her.
Okay. I mean, you know, this is why it's exciting because there's all, you know, 8 different women in the tournament and 8 different men in the tournament as well. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
when it comes to fight week as well. We'll see how everything builds up. I just wanted to get your predictions on some of the fights as well because again, I didn't get a chance to see you on the launch party. So if we start
Yeah.
with Daniela Helmsley and Julie Poker, you know, that's another bracket. Who do you think will have that one in terms of what you've seen so far?
Julie, just because she's had previous experience in MMA, I believe. I'm not too sure how long Daniela's been boxing for, and Julie looks massive. But then I think she's got a fair bit of weight to come off her, so it'll be interesting to see how she looks after weight loss. Because for me, she doesn't look like she's got much fat on her at all. She's shredded, so
Hmm.
it'll be interesting.
And what about Barbie with versus Whitney Johns as well? Because I had a chat with Barbie on launch night, and
Yeah.
you know, I was asking her about what thoughts about the tournament and you know who she'd be looking forward to face, and she said you, you know, and then mentioned about the fight that you had with Faith and you know the whole tall girl short girl dynamic, and even down to you know there were shots that were made, but it was a lot of like you know haymakers and flailing and stuff like that. And I did mention that obviously there would be improvements along the way as far as like everyone's journey. So you know, what do you think in terms of Barbie as a competitor, and then her fight against Whitney Johns as well?
I mean, I didn't throw any haymakers. Mine were pretty straight, but yeah, no, but yeah, I think that she's definitely taken the part of the villain, isn't she? She's like the demonic goth child. But you know, just because you're 6 foot, like you've got a lot of weight to come off you, you've got to be the same weight as all of the other girls. So it'll be interesting to see how she is come April 22nd, and we've got like a rehydration clause, so there's
Right.
you have to lose the weight. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't think she's as scary as she looks. I think it's just a pantomime, really. It's just like she's a normal person. If I put makeup on her, she'd probably look similar to me. You know, she'd look like any other Opoly girl. So yeah, I just think it's all an act, really, and like a persona. But you know, she has an alter ego, and it does well. Like she does well in terms of views on TikTok, and I think it's a great persona to have because you can kind of disconnect you from you, like the real you. But how that fight plays out, I'm really not too sure. Like Whitney is obviously being very more like much more conserved and you know more professional and polite, and Barbie's full on taking the role as the villain, as I'm gonna fuck everyone up. So you know, she has to walk the walk because she's gonna talk the talk. So let's see if she's just a dog with no bark. What's it, a dog with no bite?
A dog with my
Bark
bite.
with
Yeah,
a
no, I get what you mean. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see
bite.
how the tournament plays out. And I just wanted to briefly talk about because again, I didn't get a chance to speak to you on this about Astrid and AJ. You know, you
Yeah.
predicted that AJ would get the win, but obviously Astrid became victorious. Is now the Misfits champion. I know for you, are you doing 5 rounds with in your fights in the tournament?
Yeah, yes, which I think personally, like, I don't want to like disrespect the promotion, but that's
Sure,
savage.
sure.
That is absolutely savage for beginners. I did 4 rounds for my first fight, and that is tough. And I'm the only girl on there that's had a fight before. But at the end of the day, like, it has to be an odd number. Are they going to do four? No, like, it's an even number. So it's going to be more extra rounds and everything like that. And three, I don't think that's enough for this kind of level of tournament. So yeah, but
Mm,
it is 5 rounds, but it is going to be tough for the girls. And I think you can be the fittest person in the world and, you know, run for 10,000 miles, 10 miles a day.
yeah.
But sparring fitness and fighting fitness is completely different because you're going to be nervous and you're going to forget to breathe and it's going to be tough. So yeah, let's see how. I think that's going to be a big factor with a lot of, not the men because they've had a lot of fights before, but for the women, even though it's 2 minutes, 5 twos is absolute hell. And especially in influencer ring, like you don't
Mm,
conserve your energy. You go for the kill from the day, like as soon as the bell rings, you know,
mm.
you want to prove yourself. You want to prove that, you know, these promotions want you back and it wants to be interesting. So, you know, as Mam said, you know, you need to throw hands,
Yeah, yeah,
otherwise
yeah,
you're
of
not
course.
invited back. And that's the misfit. So, you know, 4 rounds. It'll be interesting to see what girls play it clever in terms of pacing themselves.
Mm,
Some girls are just going to try and knock out their opponent, e.g., Barbie, perhaps, she's going to gas out.
mm.
And then you've got more muscly girls like Julie that, you know, muscles need more oxygen, you're going to get more tired. So, Um, yeah, 5 rounds is a long time, so it'll be interesting.
If say with AJ and Astrid, if it were to have gone 5 rounds because they went for four, do you think the result may have been any different?
I think. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent about rounds.
No. But it's interesting to know your philosophy in terms of how you'll get in there in terms of rounds. But but if that fight were to have gone to 5 rounds, would you reckon it would have gone any different?
Yeah, well, I don't think there would have been a draw on the card because wasn't there one draw? I think was it someone
Um,
like judge ruled it a draw, one of them, I believe.
I think it was one a draw, and then it was by
To Astrid.
by majority. I think it was majority decision in terms of like I think the other two judges, I believe. So I need to
Yeah,
double
of
check on
course.
that.
Yeah, I think I remember it being a draw, but I don't know if I just made that up. But I think that Astrid would have won unanimously. Like I don't think there would have been a draw because Astrid AJ was just losing composure by the end of the fight. I think the first round she looked sick, but then perhaps she just didn't want to get punched anymore. But then if you look at Astrid's face compared to AJ's, like, did AJ take that many bad hits? I don't know.
Yeah, because like she took. I mean, Astrid took a lot of hits, and it was quite visible. But AJ didn't. I mean, obviously, with her arm, because I spoke to her afterwards. But I mean, either way, I mean, they put their all in the ring from what I could see. So
Uh,
they left it in the ring as far as I can tell.
I know, like that's what, and they did 3 rounds of straight punching, and how long they had trained, and that was hell for them.
Mm,
3 rounds,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's tough.
crazy. It's
Like
crazy.
it's crazy how fit you have to be, um, to give it your all for 6 minutes.
Yeah. That's a long time as well, considering it may not seem a long time in terms of like, from where we sit in the audience, but for
Yeah.
them it's like it's like forever. Does it feel like that for you in terms of like your fights that you've been doing? Because mentally when you're in the ring, like does it feel like it's forever when you're in that zone at the time?
My first
Well,
fight
obviously your
before
first,
2 weeks,
obviously, yeah,
yes.
obviously your first fight you had a lot longer with AJ, but obviously,
Yeah, my
you're,
second one. But I mean, it was over so quick. It was like 1 minute 40, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, what the fuck? Like, I was like, I trained so hard for this. Like, I finished this gun in 1 minute 40 seconds. Like, that was absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think the plan is to carry that on. I don't want to keep doing the 5 full rounds. I don't want to do that. I don't want to leave anything to the judges because clearly, like the PBA or whatever the federation, like they have controversy. I don't want to leave anything in their hands. Fuck that. I'm gonna snatch that. I'm gonna make sure it's stopped and the ref waves it off. So there's no decision needed because I'm
Mm.
gonna take that win, snatch it.
Yeah, because I remember when we spoke last time that you're focusing in terms of like the women in the tournament, but
Yeah.
after that going back to Misfits, only time will tell in terms of if ever an Astrid fight would be on the cards. But I'm thinking maybe in your case that you're thinking maybe it might not be as much appealing at this case. It all depending on how this tournament goes.
To fight Astrid.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got 3 fights guaranteed within the next 5 months. And I think if once and when I win this, I don't know who's gonna want to fight me. Unfortunately, like I think the narrative will be great between me and Astrid if I keep improving, she keeps improving, and then one day, we're signed by the same promotion, Misfits. Like if they wanted that fight to happen, they would make that happen. So
Mm,
only time can tell. But I guess we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. Obviously there's the weight difference and everything like that,
Yeah.
but I think, we both keep needing to prove ourselves in the meantime.
Because I know for the next card for New Orleans for Misfits, there's Fangs versus Justin Minks
Yeah.
for the co-main event. Do you know much about them in terms of like their backgrounds and would any of them two appeal as far as a fight?
I know that Justin Minks has had a fight with Yodeling Haley back on Greater Clash. That was, that fight was, similar to AJ and Astrid's, I think, like a fight of heart. They were just absolutely battering the shit out of each other. So and I
Mm,
know that she came out on top. So she's had a fight and she's won that. And I know that people are saying, so praising her and saying she's going to do big things. So I think perhaps she's got pressure there. Fangs is older. she's a southpaw. I don't know if that's any different for Just Minx.
Mm.
So we'll see. I think they're not really potential opponents for me just because I am fighting people that I should not be fighting right now. I'm having to fight fucking massive girls just because there's no one in my weight category and I
Mm.
like the challenge. But they are way above that weight challenge. Like they're 5'9", but they're, in the late 60s. Like I'm a 57, 56 kg fighter and I'm already fighting girls that are 63. Like there needs to be a limit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see how, like, again, let's see how the tournament goes, and then progressions from there, because like I said before to you, like with the progression of women coming into the fold in influencer boxing, the more that's showcased in, especially on the women's side, the more there will be options as far as like, who could be matched up with who without any sort of complications, because again, it's only just the beginning in terms of his journey, I guess.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there's so many women that want to get involved. So, yeah, it's great things. I'm just glad that I started when I did because I already have a year's experience nearly. So,
Yeah, I mean, big up to you. Like I said, I've seen nearly every asset of your journey so far, and
yeah,
it's only just progression after progression after progression, and me seeing your training, like, you know, things are getting better for you in that respect anyway. And obviously, with 2 pro fights already under your belt, there's more, not only more to learn from, but also more progression in general for you.
yeah, no, 100%. And I'm continuing to improve so rapidly that I can't imagine where I'm going to be in a year's time. I'm going to be like, whoa, like I'm actually half decent at this point.
Well, I mean, just before I let you go, then, I wanted to get your predictions on the men's side, because obviously, a lot of the men's, fights are looking exciting as well. Firstly,
Yeah,
with Anderson Gibb and Austin McBroom, um, when that got
yeah,
announced, I was like, wow, okay,
yeah,
rematch coming. So, but what do you think
yeah.
in terms of who do you think's got this?
I think Gibb again. I think I think Gibb that has a very strong chance of winning the tournament. I definitely think he wins the rematch, but I guess we'll see. This is influencer boxing though. Anything can happen.
Okay, and what about Tom Zanetti versus Jarvis?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like I have no idea. I think Jarvis looks really good in training and I know how hard he's worked, but then Tom Zanetti looks bigger, more power. I have no idea.
Hmm.
Like that's a fight I want to see.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, you were on the same card as Tom Zanetti when he had his fight against Slim. I mean,
Yeah.
so obviously there's stuff to work in terms of that, but I guess with Jarvis,
Yeah.
you've only got like really what the Floyd Mayweather stuff to
Yeah.
refer to. Then I guess.
I know, but I think he does look really good. I think
Mm.
even in that Mayweather video, like I think Mayweather was trying harder in those videos than he has like his last recent like influencer exhibitions. Um, so I thought he looked really good against Mayweather, but yeah, I honestly have no idea. I think it could go either way.
Okay, and what about my mate Nate versus King Kenny? I know with my mate Nate, he's had like three fights in Thailand. All of the fights I've seen so far, and when I spoke to him, he had head guards and 16-ounce gloves. But I know that he broke a man's nose through using 16-ounce. And obviously, we know about King Kenny's pro fights he's had so far. So based on that, based on what you're hearing, who do you think might have that one?
Yeah, I think Nate is definitely a dark horse in this tournament. I think a lot of people are underestimating him just because they probably don't know who he is. And I've seen some clips on his page where he was like, smashing these guys up, like literally. I didn't know they were in 16 ounces, but Kenny is a very good technical fighter, I think. Obviously it's controversial his last fight, but yeah, I think Kenny will win if he lets his hands go more, but he's promised he will. So,
Mm.
I guess we haven't really seen Kenny's power yet and what he can do in terms of like really throwing a lot of combinations. So I'm rooting
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, we know he's a great technical fighter, but obviously, everything has been showcased about wanting to throw hands more. So again,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. And I know he's in the gym working hard, so we'll see what happens there. And
Mm.
Whindersson Nunes, obviously he hasn't got an opponent yet. Have you got to see any of his background, and is there sort of guesses of who he may be facing? Because obviously we're still waiting to find out.
Yeah, I have no idea who he's facing, and it's a shame that Swingler's not in it, obviously. But Yeah, no idea, but I think Nunes has this. I think he's also a very strong contender in the tournament. So unless he's against, I don't know, Conor Ben, then I think Nunes will win.
Well, I mean, like I said, this tournament, this concept is, it's very exciting to see, and a lot of news is going over in the crossover boxing scene. So there's lots going on. There's lots that are happening. It's all going off at the moment, and
Yeah.
but for you personally, like I wish you all the best in terms of the tournament. Can't wait to see you on fight week. So I guess you're in the gym locked in until fight week happens, right?
Yeah, I've got a whole week making up to do. So yeah, it's overtime.
A little bit of I mean, yeah, I know Marks is going to put you to the trenches.
I know.
I know you're not looking forward to that, but again, we're looking forward to seeing what happens in the tournament. Elle, thank you
Yeah.
so much for always taking the time to speak to me. I know you're probably getting bored of me right now in terms of like, oh,
No,
I've
it's
seen
all
this
right.
guy many a time now.
It's all right. I like you. You're one of my favorite reporters.
Oh, well, no, I honestly appreciate that, Elle. Well, I mean, I'll leave you to it anyway. I wish you all the best in the tournament, and I can't wait to see you on fight week.
And you, I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.